Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to another episode of Holy Terrors. This time we are in the Confessional, and if you are not an Earthling, you are welcome to listen in as well. So I'm one of your hosts, Brian Kuiper. With me, as always, is Mr. Pat Brennan. How are you?
I'm good. You know, they're already listening, Brian.
They're
already listening.
Well, we talked about that movie already, so we know they're listening. I hope we could get to talk about more alien movies.
Well, that Spielberg one's coming out.
Yeah.
That's got to have some sort of...
It definitely has religious context in it, judging from the trailers. But before we move on, I have a question for you. Have you heard the good news?
I don't know.
We have a sponsor.
Oh, yeah, we do have a sponsor.
We do. This is very exciting. Our friend Rock from Manor reached out to us and asked if we would be willing to have some ads from Manor in our show, which we were like, sure, we can do that. So I'm going to mention some things that I didn't tell Rock about ahead of time. I just want to mention some things that are recent with Manor. I just got the latest this morning in my inbox, which is Your Horror, My Horror, The Gut Punches of Losing Our Favorite Characters by Jerry Smith.
Jerry!
Great article. Yeah, it's great to see Jerry back in the writing space again. So his latest is now available there. And hey, Manor Post. Pretty good place to find out about what we all fear. I wrote about hell this month. Yeah,
that was fun.
And I doubt anyone that I actually went to church with read that, but if they did, boy, they are worried about me now. And I'm glad.
My last one was about mascots.
I was going to say, your irrational fear of mascots article was lovely.
I think you mean totally rational fear of mascots. Fuck those things.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about him just because of the glittery guy. I know you hate that movie. That's going to be our big disagreement episode, and I'm excited for that. I want to explain to you why you're wrong about that movie. But
okay, nerd.
Yes, I am. So anyway, we are very happy to be joining with Manor, and that's pretty exciting. And we look forward to hopefully continuing that for a long time. Anyway,
Thanks,
I just want
Rock.
to mention that. Yeah. And in the news, this has been quite a week.
This is what I thought you were going to tell me about with the good news.
We have the hantavirus, something that I didn't know was a thing, except for an episode of The Simpsons.
I legit didn't know it was real.
Yeah, so every time I see a headline about the hantavirus, I just hear, now we knew this contained spider eggs, but the hantavirus,
Classic.
that just pops into my head. I love that. But on the Holy Terrors front, big news this week. Well, a couple of things. Longlegs 2 has been announced, which another movie that you didn't like.
It was fine. I just didn't think it was, You
came to it after too much hype had been given to it.
So much hype.
Yeah. The hype was probably undeserved. I saw it early enough to really enjoy it.
I do have to say, though, the movie, my wife watched it with me, and we quote it all the time now, usually around our kids with the "Mommy, Daddy" line. That's yeah. So it gave us that.
And that's special. That's really special. So Longlegs 2. But more importantly, this is actually huge news, just cinema overall. The Devils from 1972, Ken Russell's classic, unattainable, impossible to find in its complete form, has been fully restored to Mr. Russell's original vision and will be shown at the Cannes Film Festival. And it's a 4K release has at least been announced in the UK. Let's hope that, Criterion's on that fucker.
They got it. I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah, because I think BFI announced it. as being on through them. So I think there's a good chance that it's probably going to be a Criterion edition. I hope. Also, it's going to get a theatrical release in October. The understanding is that at this point, that is a worldwide release through Clockwork, which is related to Warner Brothers. So anyway, that's like huge. I mean, seriously, The Devils, it's been making the rounds on Shudder and Criterion Channel, sort of showing up every 6 months or so for the past couple of years. And then disappearing again because, it's one of those movies. But I'm excited about this. I'm really excited. I've even seen the Rape of Christ sequence, and I still am like, I want to see this.
You want to see it
in its.
Yeah,
I want to see the whole thing put together, and I want to see what Vanessa Redgrave does with that femur. I mean, this is.
What doesn't she do?
What doesn't she do with that femur?
We're obviously going to have to cover it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you are a former nun and would love to come talk to us about the Devils, we would love to have you on.
I'm very good friends with a former nun, actually.
Are you?
But I don't know if I don't think she has any interest of.
Okay. Yeah. I would love to talk about the Devils, particularly with certainly a female guest, but someone who has some kind of history with that movie would be amazing. So, hey, you can reach out to us on the socials if that is you. Do
people still do this?
I don't know.
On the phone?
I don't know because I'm not cool. So I have
either.
No idea if people do that anymore. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about anything that is gaining that much buzz that is over 50 years old is pretty exciting, really.
And speaking of lost film coming back into our lives, did you hear the news too of the screening of the Gremlins work cut?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting too. I kind of wonder if that'll ever see some sort of physical light of day, even as like a special feature on a nice Gremlins release.
I imagine
they did it.
They did something similar with Nightbreed.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
the Cabal cut. Yeah, the Cabal cut's interesting though because it's actually like the full restored thing.
Well, there's the Cabal cut, and I think there was another cut as well.
I know there was Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know there's also a work print cut of Blade Runner on one of the editions too, which is kind of fun. And Alien 3, I'm pretty sure they did that too. So anyway, I'd love to see that because that idea that it's very character heavy at first. Joe Dante in his little intro that they posted on Instagram saying, Gremlin doesn't even show up until like an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it is, but
and apparently like the scene in the bar, I think it goes like double the amount of time that it does in the theatrical cut.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot of Gremlin hijinks.
That is a lot of Gremlin hijinks.
Yeah.
I know that there's a work print version that's sort of bootlegged around of The Burbs, too. That has some of the extended, like the dream sequences and things like that are extended as well. All of this stuff would be interesting to see. I mean, sort of a film nerd sort of stuff that would be interesting to see, but it's
Release them all.
Yes. And, if the footage still exists, I mean, I don't think we would ever see a Craven cut of Cursed. I don't think that is there. But the footage, even if just like we see what was there, what was sort of the intent of the original version of Cursed would be interesting. I mean, some of that can't really be replicated because it was supposed to be Rick Baker doing the practical transformation effects, and those got replaced with CGI, things like that. But at least closer to what Craven signed on for would be interesting, and what Williamson wrote. So anyway, those would be interesting to see. But who knows? If they can release... The Shadow does know. If they can release the Snyder Cut, they can release
You can unrelease that one.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I felt. I was... Yeah, cough,
You're
cough.
getting choked up about it.
I was not impressed. I remember watching that during COVID and just getting more and more and more angry as I watched more of it. But anyway, we're not talking about movies
that did impress us.
Yes, I have a few that surprised me. So, and you do too, I think. So we're going to do, like we did last time, we're going to do 3 and 3, and then maybe a little rapid fire. I don't have nearly as many movies I've watched over the past 2 weeks as I did last time. So,
yeah. I have a few. I've been by myself for...
That's right.
Feels like
You've been living the bachelor life for the last week, unexpectedly.
So sad. So depressing. But I watched a lot of movies.
And your family's coming back tomorrow, and it'll be a joyous reunion.
Yeah. I can't wait to see my kids and my wife.
Yeah.
Ruined it. You didn't catch the Borat?
I was my wife. That's what I was going to go for.
There we go. Mine was a little too subtle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was good. That was good. All right. Did you want to start out, or shall I?
Sure. Speaking of catching, I finally caught, because it's on VOD now, Exit 8, the Japanese
Just missed this one, yeah.
liminal horror film by Genki Kawamura. I believe is his name. I'm always so self-conscious when I try to pronounce people's names. Anyway.
Yeah.
So this whole liminal horror trend, I'm there for it, man. I actually, I don't know. I like this whole idea of taking like common spaces and finding the eerie in them.
Sure.
And I'm also a big fan of subway horror.
Oh.
Because like the subway, I mean, if you're someone who's afraid of, either being buried alive or afraid of, if you're claustrophobic, the subway is a terrifying place. And I remember when I lived in Toronto, when I would be like commuting to work or school, just thinking about like, what if this just collapsed right now? Or what if if the odd time when your train would stop and you couldn't get out and you're just sitting there thinking, what's going to happen? Anyway.
Pleasant.
Very pleasant. Like this movie.
Sorry about... I just need to interject for a second. Okay. I still got this cough hanging on. I think it's related to allergies now. So I'm sorry if I drop in a cough every now and then. I'm doing my best. It's a lot better than it was.
No worries, buddy. We got you.
Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, I was wondering how this was going to work, because it's an adaptation of a video game. And, sometimes fleshing something like this out can be kind of difficult to do. Yeah. And I knew that the scares were going to work for sure, that it would be able to, bring in the fear. I didn't expect to feel as much, though, like get hit in the feels as much as I was by this movie. I didn't think there was going to be anything. I don't want to spoil any of it because I know you haven't seen it yet, but
well, this is one that I was going to go to, but is only playing at one theater in the area, and it just sort of drifted from being one or two shows to being like only like 10 o'clock at night shows.
Yeah,
and I can't do that anymore.
I hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. I think I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I thought the lead's performance was quite good, and the sound design was great. It was one of my most anticipated movies in the horror genre so far this year, and the other one being Undertone, and thankfully both so far have delivered.
Lived up for you.
Yeah.
So, little side note, we have a guest coming up in a couple of weeks here who has edited a volume on liminal horror called Darkest Margins, 24 Essays on Liminality and Horror. And it's edited by Matt Rogerson, and who's our upcoming guest who's going to be talking about Fulci with us, so that'll be fun. But anyway, you mentioned liminality. And hey, we got another liminal film coming up pretty soon. Backrooms is coming up in a couple weeks, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a Liminal Boy
I'm curious
summer.
about that one. Yeah. I must admit, when I think liminality, initially at least, I think Skinamarink and, endless shots of people's feet and wainscoting. And though I gotta say, that was one of the more unsettling theatrical experiences I ever had, was seeing Skinamarink. It really kind of gets under your skin in a weird way. I had nightmares that I hadn't had in a long time.
Your review of it on Letterboxd, where you just related this that moment of falling asleep in front of the TV as a kid, I think it was, and then running back to your room in the dark. Yeah, that's a universal feeling. I mean, I still get that sometimes. That moment where you wake up in the night and you're like afraid to open your eyes. It's
Sure. Yeah, I think I wrote a piece on it for Manor as well. Now sponsoring the Holy Terrors podcast. Boy, anyway, don't know what you guys got yourselves into, but hey, we appreciate it.
We do.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see Exodate. Glad to hear that you enjoyed it. Mine is I watched on HBO Max, I want to say. I watched Dust Bunny.
Oh!
Which I didn't know what to expect going in. I knew Mads Mikkelsen was in it, which, great. Awesome. Love Mads.
Yeah.
And I did not know, Sigourney Weaver's in it, too.
Oh.
And it was a surprise. I was very pleasantly surprised. It's directed by Brian Fuller, who, of course, did the Hannibal television series. And I was kind of blown away by this. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. It's sort of a great childhood terror kind of movie. The design elements especially really evoke this sense of being small and looking up at everything. Everything kind of feels distorted, to your young eyes. Mm-hmm. And she's convinced that there's a monster under her bed. And if she touches the floor, the monster will eat her. So there are these great things like where there's this ottoman that's shaped like a hippopotamus, and she rows her way through the house on this rolling hippopotamus thing. The monster, the Dust Bunny, eats her foster parents, and so she hires a hitman, a monster hunter, played by Mads Mikkelsen, who is only known as the intriguing neighbor, which I love a good, descriptive character name. Mm-hmm. He's intriguing neighbor, is the one who she hires to kill this monster. I don't want to say much more than that. It goes a lot into the ideas of who are the real monsters, mm-hmm. what is imaginary, what is real. Because he knows he's a hitman, and he thinks of himself as a monster in some ways. It's got some great action sequences. The special effects, pretty good.
Yeah.
But overall, the design especially, you will just instantly, it's visually just incredibly striking. And I was very pleasantly surprised by this. Of all the movies I missed in theaters, this is the one I wish I had seen the most theatrically. It was just a delight. And a lot of people are comparing it to Leon, the Professional, without the creepy...
pervy,
pervy, pedophilic undertones to it.
Yeah.
Because there's not any of that. Thank God. But people are tending to compare it negatively to that movie, and I don't think it is as much that movie as people are saying it is, in my opinion. I think it's more what I thought of as far as, especially the design, was like Child's Play 2, where everything, there's a great perspectives in that movie where the design elements are very much made to make the children look and feel small. And it has a lot of that sort of you're in an alternate reality and imaginary friend world, you know.
Cool.
But it's done really, really well. I was very impressed and surprised by it. So, yeah, thumbs up from me for Dust Bunny.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember years ago when I think it was like some online rumor or whatever was circulating saying that Wings Hauser had died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that very well.
And everyone kept, when they were talking about his work while thinking he was dead, they kept bringing up Vice Squad.
Yeah.
Which I'd never seen.
Yeah.
And I finally saw it this week. Unfortunately, now he is
years
dead.
Ago. He has passed away, yeah.
R.I.P.
I saw it a few years ago. Jerry Smith, who I mentioned earlier, recommended that and 10 to Midnight when they came out on Scream Factory. And so I got both of them. And, good purchases. Both of those. Good purchases.
It's fantastic. And so it was directed by Gary Sherman, who up until that point I had only seen Dead and Buried, which I love.
Okay.
It's one of my, I don't know, probably...
Dead and Buried is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Poltergeist 3?
I think I did when I was a kid, and even then I was like, this is stupid as fuck.
Poltergeist 3 is interesting, though. It's, I don't know that I think it's good, but I do think it is interesting.
I'll have to revisit it. I mean, it's been 20 years. Anyway.
Okay.
But, so, oh, man. It's just so dirty and intense and pessimistic. I love that, like, it ends, the final line, I think, is, you can't change the streets. It's one of those movies where, like, every other sentence is talking about how mean those streets are. Yeah. Oh, my God. I love this era of, I think it was it Hollywood or New York?
It's been a while. I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember.
It might be L.A.
Yeah, I think it is L.A. Because I immediately wanted to rewatch Angel after that.
Yeah.
Just around the same time.
For sure.
Wings Hauser's performance as this, like, maniacal, ultra cruel and abusive pimp is just Ramrod. Man, horrifying. The intensity we were talking about yesterday when you preached the good news to me of the Devils and everything. Yes. I was talking about how his performance gave me like Oliver Reed vibes a little bit, in the sense that you're watching someone who legitimately seems dangerous and volatile, and you don't want to be in the same room as them. It's a fantastic performance. And it's one of those movies that, like, some people say it hasn't aged well, because it's it's pretty gratuitous in some ways, but it is a snapshot of, like, a time it's very much of his time. Gary Sherman is kind of slowly becoming my jam. He's no,
I get it.
Yeah,
I've had that happen with certain directors. Yeah. Anyway, Vice Squad.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that's awesome. I've got that Scream Factory disc, so I'll need to give it another watch. It's been a while. I remember it kind of being an overwhelming experience. I think the first time I saw it, I wasn't really sure what to make of it.
Yeah, that's a good word to describe it. If you're if you have a very sunny disposition, it will rid you of that for a few hours after watching it. So, sweet, me neither.
And one of the movies we're going to both be able to discuss pretty soon. We'll prove that. Okay, the next one I saw is the big, I guess, recent release, though not that recent by the time this airs, is Hokum, Damian McCarthy's latest, starring Adam Scott. One of the things I love about Adam Scott in this movie is he's kind of a dick. No, he's not kind of a dick. He is.
Like Step Brothers level of dickish Adam Scott? Because he's such a good dick in that one.
He's just mean. He's just like, he treats people very, very poorly. He's sort of a misanthrope writer, which, I mean, that seems crazy. But you know, he goes to this hotel in Ireland where his parents honeymooned to spread their ashes, and he's had their ashes for a long time. This is not
recent,
not a recent death from them. It's been a long time. But then he encounters these people. Now I don't want to say too much because there's certain things that happen that even early on things happen that are that I feel like would be a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil that. But the idea is there might be a witch in the honeymoon suite, the closed off honeymoon suite of this hotel, and there's also a basement. So it's very moody, sort of classically styled ghost story kind of thing. I know that Damian McCarthy is sort of I hear more than one person declaring him as like the guy. Up there with Jordan Peele and some of these others, I guess. And I've seen Oddity and I've seen Hokum. And I really liked both of them, but I don't know that I'm quite as high on him as other people. I'll admit, I'm a little bit more reserved with my praise about the films themselves. Mm-hmm. Though they're good.
Check out Caveat too, so you get the whole.
Yeah, I know I need to see Caveat. I do know I need to see Caveat. They haven't quite hit me on that
same level as
gut level that it seems like a lot of people are, like Oddity was just blew their minds, and I was like, oh well, it was good. That's kind of how I feel about it. I haven't really gotten any transcendent sense from his movies for me, and some people seem to have experienced that, which I think is awesome. So Hokum is one that I expect I should probably watch again. Mm-hmm. I felt like there were a few times where people were talking about, oh, the script's so tight and stuff. I didn't feel that. I felt it got a little loosey-goosey in a couple of spots. And like it was going, oh, we're going up and we're going down. And that's, this doesn't mean anything to you if you haven't seen the movie. But it's just like, but
I love hearing you say it.
There we go. And it's just like, let's get to it a little bit. I felt that a little bit. I know a lot of it is mood, which is great. I love a moody movie.
What about the Moody Blues?
Not really. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I'm not really into that thing where they're playing the song, then all of a sudden they'll like read a poem. I don't.
So you're not a Jethro Tull guy either, eh?
No, I am not. I am definitely not. But hey, all due respect to the Jethro Tull fans out there, though. And Moody Blues fans, like my dad. And Damian McCarthy, I think, is really, really good. I don't know that I've quite gotten on the same wavelength as him yet. Right. It could happen, though. I mean, I'm open to that happening. That's the thing. So Hokum, definitely worth seeing. There's some really creepy images in there. I'm not exactly sure what they all mean. There's like a children's show character that's really wild looking. It's supposed to be like a donkey.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah. So anyway, it's interesting because it's very moody, not gory at all, really. Kind of ghost movie. It feels very Innocence-like. There's lots of darkness in the frame, and just little points of light and things like that. And I enjoy that kind of thing. So I don't know exactly what it is about Hokum that didn't make me jump out of my seat, but it did intrigue me. Right. So I give it a recommendation, if not, just full-throated praise, I guess, is how I feel about it.
Cool. Well, for my last one, I cheated a little bit. This is a twofer, because I revisited two movies. I know. I revisited two movies from the COVID era that I hadn't seen since they'd come out. The first was Host. Yeah, I revisited Host.
My son watched that.
Yeah.
I was, and his review of it was surprising. He really dug it. I haven't watched it since I first saw it the one time.
I wasn't sure how it was going to hold up, because I remember watching it on my laptop, because for effect, on my my couch.
I did too. I watched it on my couch, on my laptop, headphones on. Yeah.
And I think it holds up. Obviously, there's some stuff that dates it a little bit. That I think even I don't know. It's so weird. I work in a library at a university, and I've been there for 5 years, and realizing the difference now between the students that were there my first year, who went through COVID while in university, compared to the kids who are coming in now, who had their whole world kind of change, and the way that school is administered to them and everything. It's changed the mentality a lot. So I don't know if the movie would hit with that kind of student, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but I came away from it thinking that, one, it served very well by that framework of it being an hour-long Zoom call, and it's one of the cleverest parts of the film, in my opinion. And it's also just a testament to the idea that these, correct me if I'm wrong, but none of the actors or actresses and the director, they never actually met in person, right? Wasn't this whole thing...
I think that is correct,
and that's incredible. It's a testament to the idea that making something and making art during a time like that can overcome these obstacles that just felt, especially at that time, so insurmountable, like the distance and the... very fun.
Host was a great sort of flashpoint, I remember, as being sort of communal.
Yeah.
A lot of everyone just sort of was. That's when Twitter was still Twitter, and people were, interacting that way. And that was a really kind of a special moment, I felt, where I felt like I connected with a lot of people more.
Same. It's one of the things that I miss, that communal aspect that kind of took hold during the pandemic. That's a lot. Yeah. I first started doing Twitter around that time, and that's how I met people at you and pretty much all the other freelancers I know. And
same. Well, I was a little bit before that, but the freelancers and the podcasters and the people like that I still am in communication with. And Host was a big moment, I felt like, for all of us.
It was.
It felt like there was a bit of hope for it all. And I think that's, some of the Pod and the Pendulum, I guess, table reads that we did. Mm-hmm. Because we did Maximum King, which is about Stephen King and the making of Maximum Overdrive.
I remember that.
And we did. But that's how, basically, the current panel of Pod and the Pendulum, so me and Devon and Jessica Scott and Stephen Foxworthy and Ari came a little later, and Nicole. That's how that group sort of happened. And so it's funny that we sort of took some kind of inspiration, it seemed, from Host to make that little group happen. And so
I think that's a great point you made a second ago about the giving hope, because I know that, like, one of the things that really made the pandemic and everything and the shutdown hammer home for me that holy shit, this is actually happening, this is really real, was when the NBA shut down, because I'm like a huge basketball fan, and the thing with being a sports fan is it's this thing that, like, it's this cycle that's constantly going, and it's like no matter what's happening in your life or where you are at the time, you know that, like, well, there's still this season of this sport happening. Like, it's a comfort thing. So when that shut down, it was like anything can happen now.
Yeah.
So then to see, like, when that movie was released and understanding, like, it can still happen. Things are still being made. We're going to get through this. It was...
Well, I remember around that time, Roger Corman, did his little contest. You have to make a minute-long COVID-safe film.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome.
And he made all his movies available, I believe, for free. Like, that was...
Yeah. I mean, class act that man was.
He was. R.I.P. But now to move away from the uplifting side, the other film I revisited.
Let's bring it down, man. Let's bring it down.
The sadness.
I watched this for the first time after you watched it.
I remember at the time when I watched it for the first time, I walked away thinking that it was incredible, because I felt that it took all the rage that I was feeling, and that it seemed like was just the undercurrent in everything, in current events, obviously, and just like discourse on the internet. It took like all this rage that had come about because of this sickness that was surrounding us and personified it, like turned it into this film, like the rage and the depravity and the way that it showed the worst possible aspects of ourselves brought out to the surface. And I was worried revisiting it that it wouldn't hit as hard. And I'm doubling down. I think it's one of the best horror films of the past 10 years, to be perfectly honest with you.
I think it's more relevant now than it was during COVID. Because the sickness in the movie is not a COVID isolating sickness. It's people doing crazy shit all together. The depravity stuff is just like... okay, so Michelle, she told me about the sadness, and she was like, there were certain aspects of this movie that were just really... too much. So I kind of avoided it.
Yeah.
Thinking that it would be maybe not my thing. And so watching it, because I had heard about the skull fucking, for example.
It's always with the skull fucking.
I was like, well, it's not like they show it.
It's implied skull fucking.
It's implied.
It's the Hitchcock shower scene of skull fucking.
Exactly. I'm like that with the coffee table too. I keep on mentioning that movie. I think I was like, well, it's not like they show the baby get beheaded. Anyway, so I was kind of ready for this thing, and I found myself thinking so many aspects of it were so over the top that I found them funny. And I was like, what does this say about me? Because I was strapping myself in for a real downer, something that would just make me want to sink into the soles of my shoes kind of thing. And it didn't actually do that for me. And I was surprised that this is such a daylight film. I didn't. Yeah. I expected this all to be happening in darkness and stuff, but it's all like broad daylight. I think that's part of
the disturbing nature of it is how much of it's happening just out in the open.
So much blood. It is so gory, and though there was a part where she's eating a brain and then she like dribbles it out of her mouth. Yeah, that's the
the part
gag,
that got you.
The gag reflex gets me to that part. But what I thought was great, my favorite part of the movie is when she finds the guy who's like the virologist.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's supposed to kind of understand it all. And he's not infected and everything, but he's kind of crazier than any of them.
And in a way, he shares kind of the same trait as that businessman who kind of becomes the mascot, if you will, of the film, in that both of them feel like they have been waiting their entire lives to have this happen.
Yes.
Because with the businessman, you don't even, at the beginning, you don't even know if he's fucking infected or not. It just seems like it's like, well, finally I can start stabbing a bitch. Yeah. And then with the virologist, he's just like, I've been wanting to see this happen forever.
Yeah. I was surprised by this. It did not leave me with the sinking feeling I expected, because there's actually the sort of kineticism of it and the action of it. Really, it's very propulsive.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And some of it is like so over. It's almost the virus is not like the title was more like, to me, like The Rage was that taken, Carrie too, but it's more like the virus from 28 Days Later mixed with some sort of like sexual.
Well, I think
thing.
I think the later on when they mention like you're still cognizant of what you're doing,
right.
But so there's a couple of instances where you see like tears going down people's faces when they start doing this thing, and that's pretty. That's
a frightening thought. I mean, it's like every sense of morality that they still have it, they just can't
stop.
Yeah. Is really a frightening idea.
Yeah.
And
now I should say, you go.
I was going to say, you mentioned that I think there's more to this than just depravity and gore. And it's like, I was watching, like, hell yeah, there is. I think that it's the kind of movie that we could talk about here, do a full examination of. Because I think there really is something, I mean, it would be more like the morality base of things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not anything explicitly religious about it. But, I think our sort of social mores of morality are very key. I mean, that's part of every religion.
Yep.
As well. So I think that there's plenty of things that we could talk about related to this one.
That'll be my birthday movie. I was going to suggest we should each be able to get to pick a movie to cover for our birthdays.
Well, my birthday just passed.
Oh shit!
Man.
All right, you pick the next one. Or well, I guess we already got them lined up for a while.
We've already got like 3 lined up. Anyway,
oops.
Move on. Well, I kind of came up with our idea for what July.
Oh yeah.
As being our hotter than hell month.
Get ready.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, the sadness is, I think, fantastic. A hell of a lot more deep than, because when it first came out, it was very much marketed as like it was just an extreme violence picture, which I don't even think it's. Yeah. It has like a content warning at the beginning, and but I don't think the content warning isn't for like the sexual stuff so much as it's for the gore and everything, and I don't quite understand why
the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah, it was weird, but anyway, it's a lot deeper than it was given credit for, and
I think there is a lot to it going on. Okay, so the final movie that I'm going to talk about is something different, very different, because I didn't have another horror movie that I really liked to choose from, so I'm going to go with the movie I saw yesterday, which is The Sheep Detectives.
Ooh.
This was so surprising. So my friend Mike from Pod and the Pendulum, he wrote me after, because he saw this early, like in one of those Monday preview things, and he said, basically, hey, you guys should cover this on Holy Terrors. I was like, okay, sure. And so I saw it last night, and I was expecting goofy, sort of Knives Out murder mystery, except, with the edges sanded off, because there are, after all, talking sheep in the movie. A great cast of talking sheep, though, including Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Bryan Cranston and Sir Patrick Stewart. It was wonderful. The human actors, Hugh Jackman and Emma Thompson's in it, and some others that I'm not as familiar with. But it was a really surprising movie. Yes, it's goofy. Yes, it's fun. It's those things. Also, kind of surprisingly poetic and profound even at times. A lot of it is about outcasts and about judging people or sheep by things that are arbitrary, and just assuming the worst about them because of it. It was just a really lovely movie all around. I was really surprised by it, and I kind of loved it. It sounds corny, and maybe it is a little bit, but it's not. It's more like Babe. Babe is like a legit film.
Yeah.
It has sort of that vibe to it, and I was very impressed by it. The mystery is legit. The characters are very well crafted and acted, and it's got the goods. What can I say? I was shocked by how much I liked it, because I was like, I don't think I'll probably see that. And then I heard a little bit of buzz about it. I'm like, well, okay. And so I was having a rough day at school, and so I was like, I gotta go to a movie just to decompress. And I feel like the movie theater is kind of a sanctuary to me. And I was the only one there, and it was quiet and it was dark, and I watched the movie and I just loved it. It was very enjoyable. Excuse me. So just a ton of fun. No, with a burp. Okay.
Cool.
Anyway, lots of fun. And so don't just write off The Sheep Detectives because it sounds silly. It really is a good movie. So,
well, maybe I'll take... my mother-in-law was very interested in that movie because she's a huge Jackman fan. So maybe I'll take her and my wife to it.
Yeah. Well, it even goes into these ideas of what is the nature of God. The Good Shepherd is a very key element of this. What the Good Shepherd does for the sheep. There's a definite Jesus quality to it. It has an institutional church element to it that, I don't know, it's all kind of fascinating. And so it is not as crazy of an idea to cover this movie as some might think. It may not have as much meat on the bone as something like Wake Up Dead Man, the most recent Knives Out movie, but there's still stuff there, and it's a really surprising little movie. I had a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to do our rapid fires?
Let's just go for it.
All right, here I'll start. I've got them all written down here. So I saw 1989's The Church, the horror film.
I still haven't seen it. Yeah.
I'm gonna one line, sacrilegious.
Excellent.
It was very fun.
Well, is it on our list? We gotta add that to our list.
It is on our list. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on.
I keep on adding that list. I have almost 200 movies on our list now, not including the ones we've already booked.
Holy moly! Well, you love to see it. Okay, Livid from 2011 by the two Frenchmen whose names I forget now and I didn't write down. Abigail really took quite a lot from Livid. Right down to almost the character design of its titular vampire ballerina, and I'm kind of like, come on, guys. Come on. And I think as Livid, is on wonky ground, but at times. But I think I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Abigail overall.
To me, it was fine, but when you compare it to things like Martyrs and Inside, and it doesn't quite reach those heights
of French horror.
Yeah.
I revisited Fulci for Fake, the 2019 documentary about Lucio Fulci. It's the framework of this like actor who's portraying him in a film that doesn't actually exist, and he's interviewing people and trying to get to the core of who Fulci was as a person. Very, how do I say it? It perhaps doesn't get as deep into the person as you'd like it to, but it's still pretty informative. But his daughter, Camilla Fulci, is the person who steals the show. I think I've heard pretty much everyone say she's just a beautiful person who unfortunately has since passed away. But very interesting look inside a pug of a man.
Right on.
Infection from 2004 is an honest-to-goodness forgotten gem of the J-horror cycle.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's on Tubi. I think it was just dropped on there, and it's really interesting and a very unique J-horror film in that it doesn't show a lot of the hallmarks of what a J-horror film normally has, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. Another Japanese film, kind of horror / crime film that I watched this week, The World of Kanako from 2014. Okay. Very difficult film to get through in terms content-wise. It's a feel-bad flick, but it features a fantastic performance from Koji Yakusho, who is one of my favorite actors and who you'll remember from Perfect Days and Cure. It's just another example of how much of a goddamn chameleon that guy is, and probably one of the most intense performances of his that I've seen so far. But it is not for the faint of heart. Deathline, a.k.a. Raw Meat from 1972, the Gary Sherman British subway horror film. It what kind of like Exit 8. It'll make you laugh. Or, no, it won't make you laugh. Well, actually, it will make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It'll make you spooked.
That picture right there. This is from a book that I would check out regularly from the library as a kid. Scared the hell out of me.
There's some tremendous gore effects in this movie. But I think my favorite part of it was Donald Pleasance, who I had never really seen outside of a Carpenter role or in Bond. He's delightful. He's so funny. There's so many little character mannerisms that he injects into this detective that he plays, and I was really surprised by it. Very much enjoyed it. You should
see him in Frankenstein's Great Aunt Tilly. Or not.
Or Puma Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He is in like every other episode of MST3K. So.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And then last but not least, speaking of Fulci, it's almost like we're going to be covering a Fulci movie at some point.
Yeah. Crazy.
So weird. I watched City of the Living Dead.
Great.
And, man, I think, like, fuck the fast zombies. Fulci's the one who made zombies scary again. Like, there is something so spooky about how, I don't know, he makes zombies not these mindless automatons that are just out to eat. They're these decaying shells of human beings that are now just filled with pure evil, and I loved it. And there's also he just feels like a kid playing, like a kid in a toy store in that movie. There's so many crazy set pieces that he sets up, from like the premature burial scene to they literally took I think it was something like 20 pounds of maggots. It was either maggots or mealworms, and just like put a high-powered fan behind them and just blew them into this room at one point, and they're just the actors are getting showered in maggots. And I thought it was, I was like, there's no way that's real, and it's fucking real, man. It's, yeah, he just seems to be so having such a good time with it. And yeah, anyway, those are some of the stuff I watched.
I haven't seen City of the Living Dead yet, but I will. I will. I watched, I swear, a movie I'd really love to talk about at some point with somebody. Probably sort of a bonus episode of some sort. It's about a guy with Tourette's syndrome. I know there was some controversy surrounding the movie because of the BAFTAs, and unfortunately, the way the BAFTAs handled it was very poor. But my daughter has Tourette's syndrome, and so seeing this depiction on film was like, okay, so I wasn't crazy. I knew that things were happening. And so the development of from when he's a young man to when he's older, and sort of the shifts in the way the tics work and everything is really very accurate to my own experience, frankly. Obviously, everyone, I mean, they say this about autism too, but you meet one person with Tourette's syndrome, you've met one person with Tourette's syndrome. Everyone's different. Everyone's tics happen in different ways.
Yeah.
But there was so much that I could just absolutely latch on to with this movie, and it's ultimately very moving. Very moving and eye-opening, I think, even for someone who has lived with someone with Tourette's syndrome. It was surprising and really just a really terrific movie. We rounded off Comedy Month at Regal with Best in Show and The Nice Guys.
Nice.
Both of them were great. Let's see here. I watched on Shudder, I watched Moloch, which, frankly, I don't remember anything about. I'm sorry to say. There was another film called Heresy that I liked a little bit better. It's kind of The Witch Light, but it's okay. I thought it was worth a watch. I watched a documentary called The Conqueror, Hollywood Fallout, about the making of the film The Conqueror, which was filmed downwind of the nuclear test sites in Nevada.
Ugh.
And so it's a famous movie. It's the one where John Wayne plays Genghis Khan. So it's like one of the worst movies ever made.
Oh my God.
But the documentary is more about this town where they filmed this, and just like the cancer. I mean, basically everyone who worked on The Conqueror got cancer.
Wow.
And so it's an interesting documentary. There were things about it that I didn't love, but it's a little long, for instance, but interesting. It was surprising. It was on Prime, I think.
Okay.
Then I watched a couple of religious documentaries. I rewatched a couple of religious documentaries, I should say. One of them is called Bad Faith. It's about Christian nationalism. It's more the political side of it than God and Country, which I think is actually a better documentary. I think that one's better. But Bad Faith worked for me better this time. I also watched Going Clear, Scientology and the Prison of Belief, which is not quite as good as the book, but stellar. It is a fantastic documentary, and I try not to speak ill of any religion, but I think that, to use a Scientology term, Scientology is fair game, because that is abusive.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely needs to be called out for it. And I applaud Mike Rinder and Leah Remini and some of those others for really coming out and just taking that to task. And I wish that some other certain well-known Scientologists would come out and do the same.
Maybe instead of fucking strapping yourself to a goddamn plane every other movie.
Well, not just him. There's another one I have in mind as well. Who knows better, frankly. And if you watch the documentary, you will know exactly who I'm talking about. So anyway, that's a really, really good documentary. I recommend Lawrence Wright's book on it too, if you're interested in Scientology. I'm currently reading a book by Mike Rinder about his personal experiences in it. If you don't know who Mike Rinder is, he's in all of these docs because he was one of the people who was highest in the organization who left. Mm-hmm. It's a really fascinating book as well. So I'll probably talk about it a little bit more on a future episode. Anyway, but we are running much longer than I ever intended to go for an episode like this. But sometimes Pat and I get to talking, and we like to talk to each other. So
we just cluck away.
There we go. So maybe we can see if we can trim it down a little bit, but, we'll see what happens. So we should probably wrap it up then. If you want to, you can listen to us on where you get your podcasts, of course, but you can also watch us now on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Pat is the one who is taking care of all that because I have no clue.
I don't know what I'm doing either. I hope I don't know. Some people like to see this. Some people like to see these things.
Which, hey, if that's your thing, awesome. We're glad to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying the show. And, give us a follow on the socials if you'd like. Holy Terrors Podcast. I did add ourselves to Twitter. If you want to follow us on Twitter now, too, you can. I post on it about as much as I do my personal account on Twitter, so there's that. Anyway, but Instagram is the place to find us mostly, and Blue Sky to some extent. Threads, Twitter.
MySpace.
I don't know. Maybe we could make MySpace. We could make a Letterboxd account eventually, I suppose.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. We hope you enjoy it, and we will see you next time.
Bye. And that concludes another episode of Holy Terrors. Thank you so much for listening to our humble little podcast. If you'd like to support the show, please drop us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky by searching Holy Terrors Podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.